Good morning.
Good morning.
We Piggy Mom Sisters in the kitchen, and thank y'all for joining us. I'm Mary.
I'm Linda.
And we are going to make turkey pot pie this morning.
It smells so good in here.
I did some things ahead of time because it's kind of like soup. You don't just throw the stuff in there together and cook it in the oven. It takes a while for it to cook, and I kind of wanted y'all to see the results, the end results. So we're going to see. I have not put it on the, I haven't given little Linda the recipe to put on the members page yet, and the reason for that is because every time I've ever made a chicken pot pie or ham pie or turkey pie or whatever, I make such huge amounts until there was no way I could tell y'all what the measurements. So I wrote the measurements down as I did this one today. So then that's what I will give to Linda.
Yeah,
so,
it's when you cook something like this, you really do pretty much have to do that unless you cook it ahead of time.
Yeah. So what I done, we had turkey for our Christmas. So I chopped it up, and you know what? I didn't think about this either. Turkey is different from chicken. You chop it up, it's going to stay that size. Chicken will fall apart when you cook it. So I got up this morning, I said, I'm going to cook that turkey a little longer so it'll fall apart. That turkey don't fall apart. So my little chunks of turkey is a little bigger than what I normally would want for a bite. You know,
and it's smoked turkey too,
and it's
right?
smoked turkey.
Smells
so I'm
good.
hoping that it will turn out okay. I went ahead and I was telling Linda, this is the first pot pie that I have ever made that I did not make my homemade crust. But I'm using Pillsbury home.
It's good crust.
Yeah, it's good crust, but I have always made homemade. But I still haven't got completely over the Christmas stuff. I hadn't even done all my laundry, the sheets and towels and things like that, and I'm just exhausted. So I'm giving y'all the quick version of something of this.
So do I need to bring that over there?
You can. What I done, and I wrote the measurements down. Let me get my book. Here, I can do that, Linda.
Oh, I'm just trying not to pull that out of that plug.
Okay. What I done is I made my own chicken broth because we didn't have, I'm going to move this back a little bit. I didn't have no broth for the turkey, from the turkey. So I put, I'm going to read this because I wrote it down. I put 12 cups of water, which is 3 quarts of water in this pot. 3 quarts.
This is an 8-quart pot.
This is an 8-quart pot, and I put 3 quarts of water, and then I put a cup of chicken base. It's that
Tones. Is that what you use?
Yeah, it is.
Get it at Sam's.
Yeah, I get it at Sam's. If you don't have this, you can use the chicken broth that you buy in the store, but it's not as rich. If I tell you what I would do, if I was using the canned broth, I'd put some butter in it. It needs something else, just because that canned broth that you buy in the store, it's not rich enough. So this is the best as far as I'm concerned. All right. So I heated up my water, put my broth in there, and got it good. And then I chopped a half of large onion. I chopped it, and I put it in this broth. And I didn't cook all these at the same time. I put the onions in it, and the turkey, and I cooked it for 20 minutes because I wanted the turkey. I was thinking I was going to let that turkey come apart, come to pieces, but turkey don't do that. So, and then I put spices in the broth, and the broth in the water. I put a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon. I put a teaspoon of celery salt, and I put a teaspoon of parsley flakes, and then I probably put a teaspoon of pepper. I did not put any salt in this because that chicken base is very salty. I kept tasting it to see if it needed any salt. It did not need any salt.
Does the turkey have salt in it too?
I don't know, Linda. I don't know.
But you're right. That Tone's does have a lot of salt in it.
So I cooked the turkey and the onions for 20 minutes with the spices in it. And then I cut up 2 large potatoes. Let me get this so we both can be in it.
Okay. Which side do you want me on?
You can sit right there. See him right there.
Okay.
We're doing our own camera this morning. I cut up 2 large potatoes, and I cut them in little pieces about maybe a ½ inch square. I didn't measure it, but I'm just telling you that's the size I do.
Like bite size.
Yeah, because I don't want a big chunk of potato when you're eating this. So I cut up 2 potatoes. Now I'm giving the recipe for what I'm doing today, so you'll know what size that makes. So I cut up the potatoes. After potatoes was the last thing I put in there, because it doesn't take them potatoes long to cook, and I don't want them to be smushed, mashed or whatever. Yeah. I got 2 12-ounce bags of peas and carrots. I don't like a lot of vegetables in my, mostly what I like is potatoes, peas, and carrots. I did put 2 cups of mixed vegetables.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
you put mixed
I don't really like
there.
the mixed vegetables, but what I wanted was some lima beans, and I forgot to get them. The little baby lima beans.
Okay,
I've
never put
the little green
in my
ones.
pot pie.
Yeah, I like, because I wanted a little bit of beans, but I don't like green beans in it. But that mixed vegetables has a few green beans, and I don't like green beans or corn in my pot pie. So it's your choice of what vegetables that you put in it. But peas and carrots is the main thing. Okay, so I've got that cooked. And now I'm going to show you what I'm making a 9x9 dish, a pot pie. This is one of those ball pie crusts, and I cooked it for just a few minutes. You prick it with the fork. I did not put it all the way up the sides. It doesn't matter. This is just the bottom. I like a little bit more bread on mine than just the top crust. I am going to put a top crust on it, but now let me get this camera up over here so y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to get up one of those pads out of there if you don't mind, Linda.
Pot holder? Or?
Yeah, no, one of the pads. I may have all the pads. I hadn't even put stuff back up. Here's one on the table.
Sorry.
That's where I put that pie pan. I'm fixing to put this.
The chicken stuff over there.
Yeah. Let me get this where they can see it. We got to come up with something different about our videoing. But okay.
So do you need something to put that on?
I thought I wanted that. I put it on the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. All right. You can take a. I've got so much stuff in there till you can't even get to it. You take a spider or either a slotted spoon. You don't pour all this in there. All I want is the vegetables in this.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, because I use this broth here to make my thickening. And I like I said,
Pretty.
I want to see how much this will make. The measurements that I told y'all is going to make 2 pies. That's what I thought it would.
I kind of thought that was going to be a lot in there.
So, but I may need the broth.
Right.
So
do you need something to put the rest of those vegetables in?
No, not now. I'm going to put it back on the stove.
Okay.
And now I'm going to make the roux that goes in that, the thickening.
So do you need the camera back over there where you're at?
Should already have this on. I'll move it over this way. Maybe I can see it better.
I'm sure glad you got your stove fixed, Mary.
Yeah, I got my stove fixed. That burner works perfect now.
That's great.
I got a stick of butter. You know what? You can't see that. Let me put it back over here. This is my big burner, is the reason I got it over here. I got 1 stick of butter in this skillet. This is what I'm making my roux with, my thickening. I put 1 stick of butter, and of course I will put a 1/2 cup. A stick is a 1/2 cup of butter, and I'm gonna put a 1/2 cup of flour after this.
So is your butter salted?
I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was. I have unsalted and salted butter. And I should have had this melted, but I wanted to show y'all that it was a stick. So it'll take a few seconds for it to melt. I remember, do you remember when did Mama show you how to do this? Is this how you done it, or you just figured it out yourself?
No, she didn't show me how to do it. I do mine a little different than you.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Mama showed me how to do this. She came to visit us. I think we lived in Houston at the time, somewhere in that vicinity, and she showed me how to make it. And I thought it was the best stuff I ever eat. Y'all can see I still have not gotten my Christmas stuff down. It's gonna take me a while.
Well, it's I didn't have much up, and
Well.
Mike took mine down while I was gone that day, and we just didn't put much up this year. The
Well.
pan on the table, and that was it.
I didn't know.
That smells so good. I love butter.
Yeah, me too. I think I forgot. I think sometimes I put a little bit of canned milk in this, and sometimes I don't. But I can tell the way it looks whether I'm going to or not.
You know, you were probably, I don't want to say in the kitchen with Mother more than I was, but you probably were. And then, you know, after
After the grandkids come along, Mama
yeah,
come pretty
she
often.
would come to your house a lot.
Yeah.
I picked up a lot of things from Sister Jean. Sister Jean was an excellent cook.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna put the 1/2 cup. You're not browning this. All you're doing is just mixing a 1/2 cup of flour in with your 1/2 cup of butter.
So it's not like you're making
No,
gravy.
no. You just want to mix this in here. This is the thickening of it. And like I said, and when Mama done it, I do it a little bit different from her. If I was doing this on my own, I would probably saute them onions in this. But I had to do that other so it would it'd be quicker. You can figure out a lot of shortcuts on your own. But anyway. All right.
You just have to tell me if you
Okay.
got something you want me to do.
Yeah, I do. I want you to bring that pot back over here, please.
All right. On this burner?
Yes, please. I'm gonna see if that blocks so they can. I don't know if that's gonna block what they can see. Maybe not. Let me move this so they can see. I'm gonna get my measuring cup. We'll get a measuring cup out of here. I'm going to add the broth from this where I just took the vegetables out. And that's what I'm putting in this thickening. Got a little carrot in there, but it doesn't matter. It's all going in the vegetables anyway. And this chicken pot pie, it will be thin, very thin. You do not want to make this a thick, what do you call it, gravy or whatever. You don't want to make this thick because it's going to cook in the oven. So I knew that wasn't enough.
Yep.
It takes a lot of broth. I want this thin.